They claim these massive buildings were built in just 6 months, but the sheer scale and architectural complexity makes such a timeline impossible. The official story insists these structures rose almost overnight, yet the logistics, materials, and labor required for such feats simply don't add up. When you look at the intricate details, towering domes, and sprawling facades, it's clear that constructing these edifices in mere months defies all known engineering limits. The notion of assembling entire cityscapes with advanced architecture in such a short span raises serious questions about the official narrative and points toward a calculated deception. Temporary buildings don't have massive permanent foundations, yet these so-called temporary World's Fair structures were built with stone bases, steel frameworks, and elaborate ornamentation. The contradiction is glaring. Why pour resources into constructing monumental buildings with foundations designed to last centuries if the intention was to tear them down after a brief event? The quality and durability of these buildings far exceeded what would be expected of temporary exhibition halls, suggesting that the label "temporary" was nothing more than a convenient cover for a much deeper story. Evidence shows these buildings already existed before the fairs, with photographic records and architectural plans predating the supposed construction dates. Researchers have uncovered images and documents that reveal these structures were present in city landscapes long before the fairs were announced. The timeline doesn't match up. How could grand palaces, exhibition halls, and entire districts appear out of nowhere only to vanish just as quickly? The logical conclusion is that these were pre-existing buildings, remnants of a forgotten era, repurposed and rebranded for the expos. Why would they demolish such incredible architecture? After the fairs ended, many of these magnificent buildings were systematically destroyed, their marble columns and ornate facades reduced to rubble. The official explanation claims they were temporary, and their demolition was planned, but the loss of such beauty and craftsmanship makes no sense. If these were truly marvels of the modern era, why erase them from history instead of preserving them for future generations? This deliberate destruction points to a cover-up, a way to erase all physical evidence of a civilization that didn't fit the accepted narrative. World's Fairs were actually Tartarian city excavations, uncovering remnants of a lost civilization. Recent researchers suggest that the fairs weren't just celebratory showcases, but vast archaeological operations designed to excavate, study, and rebrand ancient Tartarian cities. Beneath the fairground, workers unearthed buried streets, mysterious foundations, and technologies unlike anything seen before. The fairs became a front for a covert operation, the systematic appropriation and concealment of a civilization whose existence would rewrite history. They showcased stolen Tartarian technology at these fairs, parading advanced inventions that seemed out of time. Reports from fair visitors describe demonstrations of free energy devices, wireless electricity, and machines with capabilities far beyond what was publicly available. Yet, after the fairs, these technologies vanished from public discourse, suppressed and hidden away. The official story credits the host nations with these innovations, but the real source was Tartaria. Its inventions displayed, then buried, to maintain control over technological progress. They stole and rebranded entire Tartarian culture, appropriating its art, architecture, and traditions. The fairs weren't just technological showcases, but massive cultural rebranding projects. Tartarian motifs were repackaged as neoclassical or beaux-arts, stripping away their true origins. The music, clothing, and even the symbols of Tartarian civilization were integrated into Western culture, their source erased from memory. This cultural theft replaced one identity with another, ensuring that the legacy of Tartaria was hidden in plain sight. The fairs were mass psychological programming operations, designed to implant a new history in the minds of millions. Visitors were dazzled by the spectacle and fed a carefully curated narrative, a story of progress, invention, and Western triumph. Through exhibitions, lectures, and media coverage, the fairs rewrote collective memory, bearing the truth of Tartaria beneath layers of fabricated history. The official story became the only story, shaping generations to come and ensuring that the past remained hidden. They systematically destroyed all evidence afterward, erasing every trace of Tartaria from historical records. After the fairs closed, documents were burned, photographs disappeared, and entire archives were purged. Researchers have uncovered accounts of mass book burnings, the disposal of architectural blueprints, and the destruction of artifacts that contradicted the official narrative. This coordinated effort ensured that future generations would have no access to the truth, making the deception complete. The official story was implanted into collective memory, crafted and reinforced by textbooks, museums, and media. Every element of the fairs was designed to support this narrative, from the speeches of dignitaries to the pamphlets handed out to visitors. The true history of Tartaria was systematically replaced with a version of events that favored the victors, engineering a new reality through repetition and control. The power to shape the past became the power to control the future. But researchers are now exposing this massive deception, using modern technology and newly uncovered evidence to challenge the official story. Independent investigators have compiled archives of photographs, blueprints, and testimonies that reveal inconsistencies in the timeline and architecture of the World's Fair buildings. Online communities are sharing their findings, connecting dots that mainstream historians refuse to acknowledge. The movement is growing as more people question what they've been taught and seek out the suppressed truth. The World's Fair deception is finally being exposed. As evidence mounts and awareness spreads, the collapse of the official narrative is inevitable. The truth about Tartaria, its cities, technologies, and culture, is emerging from the shadows. Researchers and awakened minds are piecing together the real story, shining a light on the hidden chapters of history. The grand illusion is unraveling, revealing a world far richer and more mysterious than we ever imagined. The time has come to reclaim our past and rediscover the forgotten wonders of Tartaria.